Welcome to the very first episode of the Intersint podcast. My name is Mike.
I'm Kenise.
And so what's been going on with you this week?
I don't know. Okay. This is about the time where I just get cravings for the most random things.
Okay.
Like I'll just, even at work, I'll just go into the kitchen and snack on whatever is there. And for this past week, every morning I have gone into the kitchen just to grab a bowl of cereal, like dry cereal, just to munch on. But then there was some Cheez-Its there too, and I'm like, I haven't had these in such a long time.
Ooh. What kind of Cheez-Its?
They're just regular.
Oh. What's like the all-time, like your top tier Cheez-Its?
I was just gonna say it. The hot and spicy ones, naturally.
Oh, I've never even heard of those.
You really?
No.
We'll have to get you a box.
But then again, like, I never really look at the Cheez-Its.
You just grab whatever's there.
No, I just never, like, to me, a Cheez-Its was like a younger snack.
You.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would always go for like the white cheddar.
Ooh, those are good. But then that had me thinking, the hot and spicy ones, they don't taste like they did way back in the day from what I remember. And it just made me think, like, what other snacks are there that just lost its magic from like the 90s?
I guess like a lot of that too is like, what is that? Is it different because of like us growing up and our taste buds changing? Because there's a lot that I like now that I did not even entertain back in the day.
Same. And I think at work we had this conversation before of like, your taste receptors or whatever will change over time. And I'm just like, I don't want it to.
I like my taste.
Like, imagine me losing the taste for having spicy things.
Yeah, and like going off that, I'm not the greatest at spice, but it's one of those things that you just train your body to do.
I guess, yeah. And it's much easier as a kid just because you don't think about it as much.
Yeah.
And you just build up that tolerance.
There was a point where one of my exes loved jalapenos, and I had to like build up to a jalapeno. And then after that relationship, I didn't eat jalapenos anymore. And then I one day was like, oh yeah, I used to like these things. And I got another jalapeno, like jalapeno coins from Red Robin.
Okay.
And it killed me all over again.
Oh no.
Like I built up that resistance, and then because of the weight, it came back. And I had to start over.
Oh no.
Speaking of like, so during that whole journey, I was like, I don't know why, but I felt because I conquered the jalapeno. Like, yeah, I did that.
Conquered.
I remember the one time we made tacos, and I thought we could spice this up a little bit. And I bought a habanero.
Uh-oh.
And in my head, I'm like, it's just a little bit worse than a jalapeno. Just I'm going up to like the next level, not realizing I'm taking like a 5-level jump.
Did you look at the Scoville scale afterwards?
Yeah. And here's the problem. We made the tacos, and I used an entire habanero. I diced it up into tiny little cubes, and I added it. And I have to say, before then and after then, I've never felt my stomach on fire.
Oh no.
I could literally feel the heat in my belly. Like I could feel my stomach, and I knew where it was located in my body because of how hot it felt. And I've never had that experience before, and I thought I was gonna die.
Oh no.
I was in pain for hours, and I've never went back to a habanero after that.
Oh. We'll build you up again. Don't worry.
I just don't, because like my brother loves spicy food, and he'll tackle the spiciest stuff that he can get his hands on.
Mm-hmm. And even a guy we used to work with.
Oh, yeah. This is where I'm like, why didn't I get those taste buds that at least tolerated it a little bit more?
I remember like when we all went out to get food or like takeout, he got like the spiciest level. And like even then after eating it, he's like, yeah, that wasn't that spicy. I'm like, I was dying.
Yeah. And I'm sitting there melting at like a level 2. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to make it, guys. Meanwhile, you two are eating like level 5s, and he's casual about it. Like, oh yeah, this is nothing. It could use a little bit more. Some
We
people.
were talking about that at work, of like how spice would just not ruin, but like mask the taste of the actual food. So you're not supposed to overload it.
True. And that's like the hot sauces where they're like, oh, this is the hottest hot sauce that's ever been created. And at that point, it's like you're just chemically burning yourself. There's no flavor.
Which, do you remember like way back in the day, like ketchup used to have colors?
Yes. Oh man, like the purple ketchup.
Yeah. I don't know why, but that kind of like disgusted me as a kid because ketchup was supposed to be red.
Wasn't there a green one too?
I think so, yeah. Have you ever had it?
I remember when it came out and it was such the rage at my school that everyone was talking about it. I'm like, we have to get this, Mom. Like, we have to get the purple ketchup. I don't remember much about it. Like, I remember it tasting like ketchup, but there being a weird flavor to it, which probably was the food dye.
Probably.
Like, did you ever try it?
No.
Oh, okay.
Like, my parents were the types of like, they're the parents that never really got us like the fancy stuff. Like, sure, like we'll have like the gummies and whatnot, like cosmic brownies or whatever, but like going out of their way to like go for stuff like purple ketchup was it? No.
And it's just so pointless. Like, why is that even a thing that we have?
It's like now of like how they're bringing back all these things, like just for the nostalgia factor.
Yeah. And I kind of like that. I think it's a good idea. Like, let's get that innovation back into what we have.
But then now it doesn't taste as it would have back in the day because of all the chemical laws that you can't like overstuff food, snack foods with a shit ton of red 40 and yellow 6.
Why does this taste just healthier? I don't like this.
This is supposed to taste like diabetes.
Oh, speaking of, do you remember the soda Surge?
Yes.
I swear that thing was just crack. Like, as a kid, that was the soda. Like, it was the most delicious.
Oh, really?
It was, and I don't know, this was just little kid brain thinking all this stuff, like how delicious this was. And then they took it away and then they brought it back. And when they brought it back, I was like, oh, yes, I'm older. Like, I used to love this drink. And I had it, and it just tastes like Mountain Dew now. So I'm like, did they just remove all the bad shit from the first time?
Because I've never had it as a kid, and the first time I had it was my first job in high school at Burger King. And I saw it, and I was like, I remember all the time just wanting this as a kid. Let me try it. And it tasted like utter shit. And I'm like, this is what I was wanting? But now that you say that, it's like, okay, they probably did change the ingredients in it.
It had to have been during a time when things were just allowed.
I guess, yeah, before all the regulation.
Oh man, you just
unlocked.
There's a lot, yeah. Like the 90s were crazy when it came to all these different things. I feel like there's just so much more innovation with everything
back then.
Yeah, we kind of just leveled it off where like now you go down the aisles and everything just looks. There's nothing new anymore. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, it just looks pretty standard.
Like, do you remember Squeeze-Its?
Oh, yes. I never had it as a kid. I've always wanted it. And I keep seeing kids like bring it for like school lunches. And I'm like, I'm so jealous of you right now.
There was one Squeeze-It. For anyone who doesn't know what a Squeeze-It is, it's a plastic bottle with juice inside, pretty much. And at the top is a little squeezy or a twisty cap thing that when you twist it, it pops off and then you can drink the liquid inside. This was the rage for kids. I guess nowadays it would be the Capri Sun.
Ooh, yeah.
Capri Suns are like what replaced Squeeze-Its. But if you busted one of these out at a like kid's birthday party, they were gone. People like devoured these things. And I remember like one specific Squeeze-It where, say it was red, and it came with these tablets that you put the tablet into the top, and it changed it from red to green or something. And like,
interesting.
Now looking back on them, like, what were we drinking to make that happen? But then as a kid, you're like, this is so cool. I'm doing like wizardry into my drink.
I was This was me as a kid.
Ooh, the animals.
Yep. Which, like, I don't remember the exact flavor. I want to say it was strawberry banana. But I kept seeing, like, the promotion for, like, Meet Zach and Cody. Do you remember that?
So I never liked yogurt as a kid. So I missed out on the Danimals up until later in life.
Damn. You had one job, Michael.
I know. But what was the contest? Like, you got...
Yeah, so that's like, I never got it, though. Like, I guess it was like a little ticket thing or something, like, inside the wrapper or, like, the cardboard box it came in. But then, like, years went on, and we were all just collectively like, did anyone ever win this? And apparently someone did, and I didn't realize it until years later when, like, I think I was on Twitter or something, and it was a thread about, oh, do you guys remember this? Someone did win. And I'm like, what? How come there was no, like, announcement?
Well, yeah, that was back in the day, too, when we didn't really have, like, full access to the internet, or the internet wasn't what it was like today.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many competitions I've seen in the past as a kid that I wonder, did anyone ever win this, or was it just a scam? Speaking of finding something under the label, do you remember the lollipop rumor? Did you have the lollipop rumor in your school with the wrapper?
No. Maybe? If you explain it, I'll probably will remember.
Yeah, like, it's this weird phenomena with people that we're slowly starting to discover where we've all played the same games as kids.
Mm-hmm.
Being, like, states, countries away, all kids play the same games. It's like, where does that come from? Why do they all play The Floor is Lava? Where did they learn that? Like, it's just a thing that kids learn.
Mm-hmm.
One of those things is the lollipop thing. And that's, if you look on one of the lollipops, you'll see an Indian archer shooting, like, aiming his bow up into the sky.
Was there a specific brand for this?
I think it was just the plain lollipop. I'm going to try to find it really fast. But there's always an archer, I believe is an archer, aiming up into the sky. And the whole thing was, oh, if the Indian is aiming at a star in front of him, because it was rare that you actually got a star in front of the Indian, then you had to collect, I think, 100 of them.
Interesting.
And then if you collect 100 of them, you win. I think the thing was like 2 bags of lollipops, like, because you collected all of them. So this is what the Indian aiming at the wrapper looks like.
Okay. Interesting.
Oh, it was a Tootsie Pop.
I never saw that. Interesting. Okay.
As far as I can recall, the Tootsie Pop wrapper always had the Indian, but the star was not always there. Here, I found the actual wrapper.
Oh, okay.
So that's another one with the Indian shooting at the star. It was crazy. Like, how did kids come up with this?
Right? And then just taking that and then spreading it to the point where it's like, that has to be real.
Like the whole Marilyn Manson thing. I think, like, everyone has heard the Marilyn Manson rumor without ever, like, talking to each other about it.
Don't think I have.
With, like, how he got 2 ribs removed so that he could perform acts on himself.
But going back to the candy thing real quick, do you remember how your grocery store would have, like, a bulk candy aisle?
Oh, wow. I forgot about that.
Yeah. I'm trying to find a good picture of, like, what I remember. Something along the lines of this.
Yeah. Wow. I completely forgot about that.
I remember this, and I'm like, oh, I wish those candies were still, like, in circulation, because I remember, like, these one caramel things, and then there was, like, a long, not like, it was kind of like a Tootsie Roll,
okay,
but not. And okay, this was 20 years ago. Statute of limitations has expired. I used to take them without paying for it.
Oh, jeez.
It was a sample.
A sample for my mouth every time.
Yes. This was a little treat because I deserved it for going to the store with my mother and not throwing a tantrum. I deserved it.
Does your mom know about that?
I think so, maybe.
That's funny. I feel like these, like, candy things, though, I think they just moved them out of grocery stores and they just made them candy shops.
Probably. But even in Washington alone, they don't have those really, like, specialty candy stores.
True. Well, we have that one near us.
In the mall?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not like, that's very, like, niche.
True.
Type.
It's so weird too because even cereals back then, I guess they still are to this day, but you saw them like very catered towards kids and like constant innovation on these cereals. But now it's like,
and then the commercials for it.
Yeah, and now you have stuff like even this, the candy aisle, where it was all catered to kids, and now it's like all that's just gone.
There's no more kids alive.
No more. They all grew up.
Which, do you remember this?
Scooby-Doo snacks.
You never had these?
No. I can't say that I have, actually.
Oh, those opaque blue ones were pretty much cocaine. And I always used to save those ones for last only because of how extremely good they were. But now they have the more clear blue ones. And it's like, you guys changed it. It's not the same. Don't bring it back if you're not going to bring back those crack blue ones.
Exactly. See, okay, I didn't have the Scooby-Doo ones. I had these. The shark bites.
Those two.
And just like your blue ones, the white ones were the crack ones. And that's like, if you think about it, that's all of our snacks were. It's like, oh, here's a gummy, but it's a new shape. We've talked about the whole like candy thing a bit, and I kind of went down a rabbit hole of all this stuff.
Okay.
And that's whenever I started realizing like it's all either gummies in a different shape or it's just sugar. Like here's just sugar that you throw down your throat.
Pretty much. Like
the biggest thing is like baby bottle pops.
Oh.
It was powdered sugar you put on solid sugar to then lick off. Like you're not even hiding it at that point.
Because you said cereal straws or cereal.
Yeah.
Do you remember cereal straws?
No.
Okay.
I can't say that I've ever even seen those.
Because I've always wanted to have these as a kid. And obviously my mom was like, no, because we're not American. we're not a typical white family. Stay in your lane.
Wow. Cereal straws. And this one's Fruit Loops.
Yeah. Apparently there was like chocolate Rice Krispies, Apple Jacks, like different flavors.
So from the picture I'm looking at, is that plastic in the middle?
I think it was cream.
Oh.
Or something. You remember those like these chocolate things?
Like the Italian ones? I think I know exactly the ones you're going to send. Yeah.
Let me put it in Discord real quick.
Yeah, I was going to make that same reference.
I love these. So kind of like that.
Yeah.
Except it's a straw.
The Pyroline?
Pyrolines?
Pyrolines. Yeah. Pyrolines, except it's cereal instead of deliciousness. Yeah, like with the cereals, my first thought goes to probably one of the top tier as a child, the French Toast Crunch. I mean, you were talking about earlier at the top of you eating cereal dry.
Yes.
This was one of my top dry cereals.
That's amazing.
But we also had like so many weird things of, like we were talking about with the squeezes where you could change the color. But then also, they just had so much stuff where they're like, oh, you can dye your tongue different colors. Do you remember that at all?
Vaguely. I remember the fruit roll-ups where you can tattoo your tongue.
Oh, I forgot about those.
I'll try to find a picture. Like I wouldn't get the standard fruit roll-ups. I would always want the ones with tattoos.
Oh yeah, and again, it goes back to what were we putting on our skin or our tongues.
Yeah, really.
To make that happen.
But in trying to find that, I found this. Do you remember these?
Cheetos Asteroids. Maybe. I think I've seen them, but I wasn't allowed to get them, or I never did get them as a kid.
They're like in these like Pringles cans, but that black lid is kind of like a little cup. So you would just pour it into the cup.
Oh.
And it's like a little bowl, so you didn't have to like pour it out into something else. But I was so obsessed with these. And they brought it back.
Okay.
But it's not the same. They're just a whole can full of lies at this point.
Careful of lies.
They are lying. That's not. See, they don't even call it asteroids. Let me send you a picture. Like, I look at this now and I'm like, this is not it.
Cheetos minis. I mean, that's what they technically are as asteroids, but yeah, why do you change the
But
name?
they're asteroids. They're supposed to be cool.
Exactly. No, I'm agreeing with you on this one.
If you're gonna bring it back, stick to the original name.
Do you remember the fruit roll-ups where they had like shapes in them, and you could like peel the shapes out of the fruit roll-up?
Oh,
But
wow.
it was impossible to get the shape out because of how sticky it was. So it just became this distorted image.
Yeah.
Which then that reminds me of this. I don't know if you remember these at all.
Vaguely, I remember these.
It's called a fruit string thing. And pretty much it was a fruit roll-up, but it had a 3D shape on it that you can pull out. That's a string? I guess is the best way to explain it to people. It's just weird. It's crazy how we just had this small window of time where companies were going crazy with trying new stuff.
Right?
And nowadays it's just not, we don't, or is it that we don't pay attention anymore?
Maybe because it's not catered to us anymore.
Yeah, but I feel like we've been down the candy aisles before and I don't see anything new.
I guess I don't either. But do you remember these? Imagine in the summer, it's a very hot day, and then you come home and crack open one of these.
Oh, ice cream cup things.
I recently got these, and it didn't taste like anything.
Really?
Like, there was no taste to it. And I'm like, what the hell happened?
I cannot tell you how many times we've had those just in the freezer all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Bust it open, and then that was like the perfect snack for a kid. But it was that, and one of my personal favorites as a kid too was the Italian ice.
I've never had these. I've always saw these. When I moved to Washington, the very first day, our neighbors gave us this just as a whole, like, hey, welcome, because we have kids.
Yeah.
You guys have kids. They gave us this.
Oh.
And I think I got the grape one.
The Minute Maid fruit bars.
Yeah.
I remember those so much of it. It was really hard to squeeze out of the tubing.
Mm-hmm.
Like trying to get it started, you just had to let it melt a little bit and just start drinking it.
Like, you just had to wait a very long time for them to like melt.
Same with those. What? Oh, we've had it. What with those freeze pops?
Oh, like the Otter Pops?
Freeze pops. They
Otter Pops. You're not in the East Coast anymore. Otter Pops.
Those were like the staple of everyone's freezer, was having just a giant roll as if it's ammunition for a machine gun rolled up into your freezer.
Do you remember Cosmic Brownies?
Oh yeah, I still see them in the stores today.
They're not the same. Like, I recently had one, and it's like, this isn't good.
Oh yeah, the same goes for like those Italian ices I told you about.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't. It was sometime last year. I was walking down the freezer aisle and I happened to see them, and it brought back so many thoughts of, oh, this was top tier as a kid. So I bought a box and so disappointed even eating them again.
Right?
But yeah, same with the brownies. I bought Ho-Hos before because I used to love Ho-Hos.
Twinkies.
I wasn't a Twinkie fan.
You weren't?
Nope. Ho-Hos all the way.
Wow. Okay.
To me, Ho-Hos were top tier and Twinkies were not.
Were pretty good.
What's a ding dong?
No, you don't ask that. You're supposed to know these things.
Oh, those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never had those either, I don't think. See, I was a very picky kid. And
oh, same.
so Ho-Hos to me looked good because they were just chocolate, while Twinkies didn't look appetizing. And I think it's just because they were vanilla and something looked different about them, even though they're technically the same exact thing.
I remember as a kid, whenever my mom would like feel lazy, she'd pack one of those, any Hostess snack that we had in the pantry, and a Lunchable. What came to mind was this. You have to tell me if you remember this, because this was pretty much my life. Okay, this is going to be, because I guess they brought it back, so this is going to be a more modern one.
Oh, the pizza treatza?
Yeah, pizza and treatza. So
I've only had the pizza ones.
this was little candy pieces with chocolate sauce that you put on one of the little pizza crust thingies. And I always saved like the little candy bits because obviously Lunchables puts way too much for whatever is in there. So I would like save everything and like just have a little snack, like little candy bits as a snack afterwards.
My biggest problem with like the pizza Lunchables was when you're building your pizzas, you're like taking your time with like how much you're putting on.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, I need to conserve because I only have so many pieces of quote unquote crust that I need to put this on. And then you get to your final crust piece and you're like, I have so many ingredients left because I was saving, like I was rationing it out. So you just like the last one is completely filled with sauce, completely slammed with cheese because you used it all up.
Yep.
Which, have you ever like threw one of those pizzas into the microwave?
No.
Oh, I remember the day I discovered that of you put it in the microwave, the cheese melts on top and stuff.
Was this in school?
No, like if you had them at home.
Okay. Because I remember our school, we never were allowed to use the microwave.
Oh yeah. I don't think we even had a microwave that we had access to.
Oh, really?
I grew up in like the farmlands. We didn't have much.
I grew up in the city and we were not allowed to use any of this.
Well, yeah, but you also had it to be able to not be able to use.
I guess we were just supposed to give it to a teacher and they were supposed to warm it up.
A responsible adult.
Exactly. Do you remember this? Speaking of school lunches, I know you said you were from the farms. Did you used to have that as a kid?
I don't even know what I'm looking at right now.
Milk bags. It's a bag, like a little square bag of milk, and a straw is just jammed into it.
Are you from Canada? Like why do you have milk bags?
We used to have this as a kid.
This was just a thing they gave you?
Yeah.
In school.
Along with our school lunches, we used to have this.
Wow. I'm at a loss for words, to be honest.
And then it wasn't until I came to Washington where they gave us the little pints of milk.
Yeah, that's what I always know is the pints of milk.
We were growing up with that in California. If you are from California, please tell me that I wasn't the only one in school who had these.
That's insane to me.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was like only a Canadian thing that they did milk bags.
Apparently not, because I fully remember that. That and the potato smiles.
Oh, potato smiles are
S tier.
Greatest. Yeah. Just to give you an idea of what my school was like, one of our lunches, which I always looked forward to because it was to me, one of the best lunches, the best tasting ones.
Mm-hmm.
They were called Italian dunkers. If you had to take a guess, what is an Italian? Yeah. What would an Italian dunker be if you had to take a guess?
Like pizza, but like cut into slices for like French toast sticks type of thing?
That would make sense, yes. What our school decided to do was an Italian dunker was a hot dog bun that was opened up and mozzarella cheese was melted on the inside of the hot dog bun.
Okay.
And you were given the hot dog bun with cheese in it and then a side of sauce. And then you ripped open the hot dog bun to dip into the sauce and that was your Italian dunker. That was a school lunch that I looked forward to all the time.
That sounds a lot like your school district did not know how to please kids.
Oh no.
And looked for the cheapest option to just save on costs.
Yep.
How can we make the best tasting thing the cheapest way possible?
Now that you said it, I wonder if it was like towards the end of the month when they were running out of budget for the month.
Probably.
They're like, what do we have? Let's make this.
I remember for school lunches, it always used to be a race on pizza days.
Oh.
Because they would always serve the pizza first. And then they would also have a backup because they would always obviously run out of pizza.
Yeah.
I remember in school, we had Sprite, Coke, and the zero versions of those also in vending machines. And then 2 months later, they ripped it out because thanks, Michelle Obama. But they did the same thing with pizza, that every day they used to bring Pizza Hut pizza for lunches. And then within 10 minutes, they would run out. And they would just serve normal school lunch. And I always used to run.
We didn't have vending machines though. That's crazy that you did.
Really?
Yeah.
I think they were just put in for 2 months.
Oh.
Only because like we had like all the chips, all the chip varieties, all the soda varieties, and then like 2 months later they ripped it out. And they had Nestea iced teas.
Oh yeah. I used to get like it's between Nestea and Brisk were like the 2 top iced tea drinks.
Yeah. And like ours was lemon flavor, and the first time I had that was like, where has this been all my life? Because this is good.
Exactly. You reminded me too, like it wasn't until I got to Votech where we had like vending machines in the classrooms. And I remember there was a s'mores candy bar. Do you remember that?
No.
It was only around for a short amount of time, but they happened to have it and I bought one. The most delicious candy bar I've ever had. Like when you bit it, you could taste the fire. Like you can taste the charcoal and the smoke.
Interesting. I'll have to see if I can find it.
It was... I've never been able to see it again. It was only during that one small time frame. We need these candies back.
We need these back.
But like out of all the older candies, like what was your all-time favorite? Like if you had to pick one candy to bring back, just one.
See, I don't even remember like what I've had that I've liked. Everything, I guess. I don't know. Actually, it'd be those candies that I mentioned earlier on with like they looked like the little Tootsie Rolls, but they weren't. I'd probably bring those back because those were delicious.
I wonder what those are. You'll have to show me later.
If I can find a picture, or if we ever find it in a store, or whenever I find it in a store, I will bring you some.
And the one that I have that I've always talked about, I never met anyone who's actually tried these or remembers trying these. It is the Starburst hard candy.
I don't remember these.
No one does. Like, at least from people I've talked to, no one's ever tried these. I remember it was around for one summer and I had a constant supply. When one bag ran out, I bought another bag. Because these things were the greatest candies I've ever had in my life.
Aww.
And they discontinued them. And I'm like, bring these back. I need these back in my life.
I will pay.
Like the mystery flavor, the white one. Why is the white one always the mystery flavor?
Right.
But it was so delicious. Oh, my mouth is like watering just thinking about these candies. This is what I want. If I had one wish, these candies would come back.
Aw. You hear that, government?
Petition to bring back the Starburst hard candy. But yeah, I feel like there's a lot more we had to talk about, but...
Oh yeah, we can go on a whole tangent, rant. This can last for a few hours.
I thought of like 20 other candies that brain blasted it.
Same.
Yeah, so that's going to do it all for us this week.
Yeah. Hope you enjoyed us going into our little nostalgia kick here.
Yeah. Also, yeah, let us know like which ones do you remember? Which ones do you want to bring back?
Yeah.
And if you can find Starburst hard candy, let me know because I will pay top dollar for that.
Imagine some dude from Japan sending you them because they have it there.
Oh man, I would die.
That'd be amazing.
So yeah, be sure to rate, comment, subscribe, do all the fancy stuff. Go follow our Instagram over at Intersint Pod. And yeah, we'll see you next week.
Thank you. Bye.